It's honestly really brave for the teams contesting Brutal and Redline, not necessarily because they're going against some of the best, but they're going against two players that already have their global championship spot secured. They already have an upper bracket spot secured. So if you want to go ahead and be the best, you got to beat the best, but that is a lot of risk to put down into your last weekend, especially these being the last two games.
You got to do what you got to do, and that's what these players have in mind. You can see Emil and Seb now are uncontested or just gapping the drops from their opponents, but they should have their loop path planned out already and be able to finish this off pretty quickly. On the other end, though, we can see what is going on with Haijo and Kaido. We saw this engagement in the first two matches. QNDX Phantom playing on Europe now, switching to one of the harder, I'd say more difficult regions to play on from the player base. But they've done a good job, Jacob.
Yeah, so far, I think it's about like 2-2 in the on-spawn game so far. And even though QNDX and Phantom have not won an FNCS together, they both individually have hoisted and held that Axe of Champions. So they're kind of ready to take on a new region, a big challenge. And so far, I think we do agree. They're not necessarily performing the best here in this round, but they are surprising a lot of people. They could win this fight here, figure out a way to turn these games into something, because that's the biggest difference between Hydro and Kaido. In the games that they are winning off of spawn, they're turning them into long games, a lot of points, and here comes the attack. Hydro trying to catch somebody off guard, unfortunately finds no success, or at least for that moment. He tries again, gets QNDX, but Phantom turns the trade. It is going to come down to a 1v1, but no builds, and Kaido has just a sliver of HP.
No way.
Uh-oh.
No way.
Bubble shield. Oh my, I thought he was going to be able to get saved by the bubble shield. Haijo and Kaido, the way they separated in two different angles, forcing him to kind of whip his mouse around on that mouse pad.
Be careful though, if you looked at the mini-map, third party comes through. Props has an exciting sight ahead of him. Haijo now forced to pop this Flowberry Fizz. It's going to recuperate just a little bit of shield, but without too much time to breathe. It looks like the launch pad was trying to be hit, but it got blocked off, and now Kaido trying to do what he can to get out of the situation as Haijo swims away. Can they escape though? Kaido's been eliminated. Haijo running as Prop slowly catches up to him. The materials are going to be running low as well. Shots coming through, and it looks like this might be the end of the road for Haijo. One more match left to make something happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, QNDX and Phantom don't get a chance. Nobody wins this off spawn. And honestly, I do like that play where you try to turn, take the 1v1 while you can. There is a lot of space between him and his opponent. Just unfortunately, wasn't really able to land the damage that mattered. There's Alex and Rickboard. Scroll and Sky, another monster shot on the both of them, one after the next, and Alex is ready to go in for the elimination, but he puts himself in a trap. Two different angles. It costs him. He goes down. Now Rickboard by himself. Luckily for him, his teammate did some damage. He scrapes the toe. The Achilles heel only gets about 20, and he runs into the same problem, but this time he has an answer. It's Scroll who gets chopped down, leaving into a 1v1 versus him and Sky, and both players in this situation are just down to just slivers of HP and shield.
Rickboard popping two minis, medkit as well. Gonna just take the time to get that effective HP and shield advantage here. But meanwhile, Sky might try and bait the res, but not gonna have time as Scroll now is gonna get fully eliminated. Nice shots connected by Rickboard. Another two now. Just one big shotgun shot. It's all it's gonna take for Rickboard to eliminate Sky from 2 or 3 incredible matches to start off the day. Sky and Scroll have had back-to-back almost 0-point games, and now with the potential of another one.
And this is what I like about Rickboard and Alex is they realize the situation they're in. Instead of kind of just all inning every single chance, they just disengage. They're not afraid to kind of, I wouldn't say admit defeat, but just look for everything that they need elsewhere. But he just runs into a trap. Robon fast Roki, and they are just that fast on the chase and take him down with one game left. Rickboard and Alex need to figure out how to make things work if they want to get in on the upper bracket side of things.
Now they're hunting down Sky. They know there's most likely another player around here as they kept an eye on the feed. they might have seen Scroll get eliminated and say, huh, we still got a duo partner somewhere around here. Good news is, though, Sky quickly was able to get out of the POI as they were taking out the other solo there. You can look at Redline Rig once again. Merstash and Malibuka, 2 eliminations. So it looks like they won the initial off-spawn engagement. However, there's more players here now.
And this is something I feel like that we could see, whether if it's semifinals, lower, upper bracket, whether if it's the grand finals, Redline Rig. We all talked about it at the beginning of the show. Levin broke it down. The #1 voted POI by us as casters. And a lot of the big name pros, no matter what region, are landing there as well. So the threat of getting contested, we saw it season after season, whether it was Grim Gates or any of these other POIs that just have the best possible loot that you can kind of grab. I think this is good practice for them, to be honest, knowing that they have a chance to get contested. And on the other side of things, Fast Roki and Robon, they finished one fight out of Pleasant Piazza and immediately go down to iDrop and Haris.
They're locked in right now. Haris and iDrop, I talked about it earlier, a little bit of a rough start, getting eliminated a lot in the early game, even mid-game, but these most recent matches, they've been popping off. Now, on the top end of the leaderboard, this could be a solid way for them to finish off the tournament here. For 7, Emil. They were holding on strong to high ground in the previous match. Got a lot of placement points. Just weren't able to finish it off. An unfortunate ending due to Nitro. However, with 174 points, they've got nothing to worry about.
Frazian, Rakuzan, just one of those teams that we saw in that fight not too long ago in that last game where it was just so chaotic, but they were the ones that actually survived the longest, that were there the longest. As with Juvenile, Thomas, Queasy. Does look like they continue to find just a little bit of struggles in that early game, getting chased off of what looks like that forecast tower in this direction. That would have been huge because a lot of their rotations are deep into zone, late to the rotate. If they're able to get something like that and figure out a way to kind of add that into the game plan, it would be huge for their success. They can kind of plan ahead for the rotations and try to get as much tags as possible.
That's the hope. They have bumped themselves up the leaderboard quite a bit. Previous match, they were 42nd, 32nd now. All they need is the top 45, so they're in good qualifying range. Volko and Cringe up by Rebels with 1 Elim on the board. I'm not sure where the solo might have went. I don't think there was anybody inside on the minimap, yeah.
Maybe they just thought he was there. One of those kind of situations, or maybe just went a whole other direction. See, Grimgate was once one of the hottest POIs last season. You're seeing just not a lot of activity over here unless you're building a Surge Tower, because it is center map, which is good. As Cam meets Seti, they're trying to make up for that last game where they went down just a little bit earlier than they would have hoped. And it's easy. It's Akira on the other side. The Kansa duo that I had high hopes for, and so far, 11th place. They are performing pretty well and pretty consistent for the first couple rounds and weeks that they played so far.
Not doing too bad at all. They're going against experienced veterans. Cammy and Seti are not going to stop that pressure from coming through. Akira getting closer and closer to that bunker. You can hear opening right now. Will they stall out this engagement? If Akira and his duo decide to go inside of the bunker, will they try and hold them, as the zone has pulled pretty far, so rotate's eventually going to have to come through. For Seti, though, he has been hit. Not enough to crack him, but the back and forths are strong with these duos.
And unfortunately enough, even though Akira and Easy do have control of the actual bunker door and all the surrounding pieces, they can't go in. If you go in, you trap yourself, and you're basically admitting defeat to Seti and Cammy and forcing them to decide when you get to rotate on out. That's why you see them still fighting for this position. Cammy and Seti not wanting to give it up. Zone pulling away is a little bit of a blessing in disguise, so only the nosy players will hear this noise and want to rotate on over. It being the bunker, it does have a little bit of a possibility, but as of now, it does look like they're going to get all the time in the world to duke it out.
Looks like Cammy might have just replaced the Going in roof for the bunker side almost. No, it looks like Easy still has it. But this is kind of a stalemate in a sense. And both duos are just kind of putting themselves into the storm to fight this out. You see Easy has no medkits in his inventory. I'm not sure what Cammy and Seti have in terms of heals. Looks like it's 4 floppers for Cammy. Potentially more for Seti. So this might be a dangerous game for Easy and Akira if they want to stay here much longer.
Yeah, they're almost leaving them no choice but to have to go into the bunker and get some loot. But Akira tries to fight Cammy, who lands 2 great shots, goes for a third onto Easy. That's going to land, but it's not going to do a ton of damage. But luckily, Seti's there. He's trying to keep the pressure on. Doesn't want to let either one of these players heal for free, as Akira's finally going to get dropped down. Easy now stuck in a 1v2 situation, and he meets that same fate. Seti, with that additional angle, makes the difference.
You can see the excitement. Cammy's the king, as now the bunker is going to be secured by this duo. You can see them going right on in. A little bit of extra loot. Merstash Malabuka, not only did they secure their 2 eliminations off the start, but now they're hungry for more. Shield's low, but they've got enough to recuperate it. By the Lavish Lair, they have to be careful as there are duos surrounding them. And I think they know that, so most likely going to back up to conserve those shields. They are going to trade the medallion back and forth to recuperate that shield over time.
And I feel like you can kind of see what made this such a risky fight. Hard to win, hard to get out. It's Trulex and Chicho that are positioned just on the outside north of Lavish Lair, which means anybody kind of rotating out is susceptible to a couple of shots, and they're going straight into them. And that's where it's going to count. Chicho, with his eyes on the prize, is able to get the drop. And you see all the loot getting passed on over. They're going to attempt the reboot, but you see them close the distance in the minimap. Trulex, Chicho, they probably saw it was the superstar team, a big threat, and they want to take them down very, very early so they don't have to worry about it later in the game. But other people, they got that same invitation. 4th party, 5th party. You see a 6th, 7th, and 8th in the minimap as well. This is going to get dangerous, and it's going to get dangerous quick.
The invitation went out to too many duos. They were not invited. As you can see now, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 duos in the surrounding area. You do not want to start an engagement here. Malabuka seeming to be the only solo now as Merstash has been taken down. Swizzy's going to be the one aggressing onto Malabuka now. He's forced to build on up. Good use of the metal here, but with Nitro breaking on in, Malabuka now, pressure is on him. He pops his own Nitro, but it's not enough to get out. Swizzy Vanyak are going to clean it up.
Yeah, even with the changes to the Nitro, those freshly built builds are just easily able to kind of burst through when both of you are running at max speed. And the way Vanyak and Swizzy joined the fight, they boxed up at the bottom and said, nah, we've been here the whole time. You've been fighting us, and you're going to have to go through us if you want to come out alive. They've already taken down one big team in this position. Trulex and Chicho, they are long gone. They realize how risky it actually was, and they don't want to risk all their game for this, even though they are at the top of the series point leaderboard or as close to it as possible.
Pretty solid loadout for Vanyak and Swizzy as well. I mean, not much more you could ask for, especially after taking out Merstash and Malabuka and getting that medallion. For Emil and Seb, they're looking strong as well. They have some duos rotating in from zone. I'm not sure if they're aware of it, but with 0 eliminations, it could open up for a potential damage opportunity. Being at the Reckless Railways as well, kind of more on that southern east side of the map. I'm not sure how many duos are going to be already based up there.
They're just trying to get anything they can get. Apples, corn, bananas. See the blue cap mushrooms that they're saving for later. Hey, if you have an empty slot, why not? Figure out a way to make it work. As we continue to look around the lobby, you know, Demas and Sren, one of the teams, they were just on fire to start the day. At one point, we were talking about the only team to get top 10 in every single game, but sometimes, you know, in a 6-game format, this is the finals, the best of the region qualifying into here. It is going to be probably one of the more harder experiences, especially if you're used to playing in rounds 1, 2, and 3.
It's a difficult experience, but also it's great practice. Seeing that these are the qualifiers, you want to be your best version of yourself for the semifinals and grand finals, so being able to practice against the best is how you're going to improve more effectively, efficiently. Nice little shot from Cringe. Good way to play passive.
Wow.
where he's got to be careful is, even though he got the initial shot, doesn't look like it scared Chicho or Trulex at all. They were ready to get right back into the action. Volko was hitting them with a little flank, but unable to connect any shots, as now that back and forth is just going to be used for the damage that they got.
Yeah, there's even like a third-party team on the mountain just above the bunker on that east side of the minimap. They were the ones also shooting in this direction. Got those couple tags onto Crim, so it wasn't even Trulex and Chicho who got that 50 or so shield gone. It was a whole nother team. And you're seeing a lot of activity from the north side towards the south side, but with the zone continuously moving up towards the north, where Ice and his duo are currently positioned, there's going to be a lot of opportunity once they look towards the backside of zone to try to get damage for Surge, but they don't necessarily need because it just deactivated.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot more players here now. We talked about it earlier, but Surge has been more active today than the last qualifiers by a significant amount. So the players are staying up a lot longer than they usually are. Might be due to the nitro change, or it might just be due to it being the last chance for these duos to qualify to the semifinals. Thomas HD, Queasy. They've been looking for that big pop-off game. Unable to get a good one yet, but this could be the one, Jacob.
I'm just kind of hoping it's going to be the one. It's really just been Storm Surge. Storm Surge has been one of the biggest issues that even when they do make it into zone, they can't just position themselves where they want to because they're usually just on the hunt, knocking on a box or not necessarily getting the shots they want from a distance. But once again, they get a far pull. So hopefully when it comes to the damage they were able to accumulate early in the game, it's enough so they can focus on just the rotation. Pablo and Tony, a.k.a. Bevies, they have a similar rotation, but for them it's just going to be a little bit easier. They do have the Nitro Ring. They can boost their way through, especially if they do want to combine it with Flowberry Fizz, if they have any.
Yeah, Pablo doesn't have one. I was trying to figure out if his duo, Bevy's had any, but we'll see shortly as they decided to just straight up go into the Nitro Ring. So it looks like no Flowberry Fizz needed. It's a pretty far rotate for this duo, and you can see on the minimap how many players are already kind of boxed up on the edge there. So they most likely will be looking back, and looks like it's a fall off from a ridge, and they quickly realize this could get dangerous. So they're going to choose to go in the bush and take some shots, but Cammy and Seti might just capitalize on that.
Yeah, they heard the shots, quickly reacted though. Cammy and Seti, they don't want to fight. They just want to rotate on by. They only shot the shots to try to see if there was anybody in that bush, which there was, but Cammy taking a lot of the damage. Seti taking just a little bit more. Figure out a way to reunite and create space. They're over 800 above the damage threshold, so Storm Surge isn't necessarily the worthy, but Ice Chocolate Vanilla's duo just trying to bull rush into the box. Cammy with just a sliver of HP, trying to survive, and this duo right here looking strong as can be, and they have no other choice. 133 below with another shot connecting onto Cammy. They're going to get that elimination, and they're going to go above the threshold, barely, but now it's going to be tenfold as they clean up that squad wipe onto Seti and Cammy and go 171 damage above that threshold.
Seti caught reading the newspaper on his middle wall. Unfortunately, both players are going to go down now. Cammy and Seti now just one more match to bring it back in the last game of the day. They're top 10 right now in 9th, but we'll see how that changes. As for 9, who's also been knocked down, but Della might just be able to pick him up in the corner of the zone here, but he hurries with the aggression from the back. It's Ju that's actually going to get knocked down without landing a single shot onto Della. Now the 1v1 comes through as Asa is trying to do what he can, but it looks like both players were a little lost, and Della picked up those 2 eliminations.
It's like one of the first moves you kind of learn when playing Fortnite editing. You go up out of the box, you kind of go right back in on the other side. Great shots by Della. Unfortunately, he was not able to save Fanayan. Even if he has the reboot card, chances are very, very slim he's able to get him back into the game. So he's going to have to do this one by himself. And I will say, I talked about some things going wrong. What's going right is he is looted to the gills. Other than the rarity of his weapons, he has mats, he has resources, he has everything he needs to continue moving forward.
Set now. Played a bit slow here. They know if they got players close by and a lot more rotating. They need to find a way to get damage, but they're not going to play fully aggressive for it. They're going to try and find some angles here, possibly even some shots from afar of the players rotating on in. Here are opportunities. Squeezy and Thomas, but right as they look for those, Seth gets cracked now. Going to be forced to heal up while it's the perfect moment to look for shots. You don't get a lot of opportunities in these lobbies, and you got to take the ones you get.
Yeah, it's just valuable time kind of going out the window. 36 below. Kind of see it on the other side. Flowberry Fizz. Peeking through the comb. The information here. Getting ready to figure out where these players are at. 94 below. Constantly falling. They have to start getting proactive because then you're going to put yourself so far in a hole. Doesn't matter how low you dig. You cannot dig yourself out of it. Uh-oh.
Nice Joko going right into Queasy's box, knocking him down. Thomas HD now left alone. As both players are going to try and secure that loot and regroup together, but it's Seb that's close by. Will he aggress, though, is the question.
145. Not a hard pull for this team as well. And they've been taking it step by step. They've taken it in stride, not making any big plays, but Emil goes down. Della finds that elimination, leaving Seb by himself. 286 above that damage threshold. And we're looking at him here because he needs a first place, a top finish here on the day if he wants to advance to the upper bracket and have the easiest road to the grand final. So if he wasn't feeling pressure enough before the day began, he is definitely feeling that pressure here.
It's not easy to get that first place finish. You know it more than anyone, and now the 176 points. There's just 2 matches left. Jacob holding on to that first place spot. It's gonna change a lot. And every single point counts. Sky now, from a tough early game, somehow has clutched it up to the late game, but not in an easy situation here. Has floppers, has nitro, even the flowberry for a momentum boost. But being a solo in this lobby full of duos that are looking back at you is going to make it incredibly challenging.
Yeah, it is tough. The nerves got to be at an all-time high. And you see the shot skin landed on the other side of the door. That's Chari who goes in. I believe he was the one that even got him weak in the first place. So he basically finished that fight. And you're seeing, luckily for now, there's not a lot of mountain ranges for this hill to go on over. So it's almost smooth sailing. A lot of resources able to be saved up until this stage in the game.
Bella's gone down. Serendipitous now. Looking to see what they can find. There are some solos walking by them. It's going to be Volko and Cringe all the way down below. Secure. Meanwhile, Swizzy and Vanyak. Prime high ground position. However, they do have a bit of a rotate to go on that moving zone side. You can see Vexy too thinking about it, saying, should we do this? Is it our time now? Play for the high ground, but no. Vanyak and Swizzy gonna ramp on ahead. They won't take fall damage here. So they're just gonna kind of keep going until either they get chopped down or they just make a sky base at this point.
I'm okay with this. I'm 100% okay with this. Everybody down below, yes, they might have some chances to look up eventually, but they're just worried about going from point A to point B, especially some of the solos. We know a couple of them are sprinkled around down below, and they're just going ahead and celebrating. They know whatever happens here, they have the splash. Now that everything comes crashing down, they can continue to join the fun.
Look in the sky, the shots are gonna come through. Have you been training your aim enough to take out Swizzy Vanyak? Maybe not, as iDrop's gonna be the one being almost taken out in the air. Gets cracked. Vanyak, Swizzy have an opportunity to go back up, but they're gonna choose to play it a bit slow here. Fizz is gonna get popped. Nitro's gonna get popped. They're gonna wait to see where this zone pulls, as now they slowly make their way back up to the high ground, but they have challengers. It's iDrop and Haris.
Yeah, and they're ready to fight for it tooth and nail. We know once they're up there, they get so comfortable, and this is where the battle's breaking it down. Vanyak, Swizzy, hopefully they have enough builds to hold on, but it doesn't matter. He gets stomped out right now. Haris was able to get that elimination, maintain the position above, but iDrop, it comes at a sacrifice. Now everybody gets dropped and lost as solos, but he still has the 3 medkits. Yeah, he might need to use one now to get up to tip-top shape, but those second 2, they're valuable for placement.
Fighting to the stars, and now it's opened up a chance for these other duos that wanted high ground. 3 of them ran up at the same time, but it looks like Tidi and his duo partner are going to be the ones that already have 10 eliminations and have secured prime positioning.
Yep, double Flowberry Fizz, Nitro splashes, a crash landing is not going to be a worry for them as they continue to look down. That's going to be Tony, aka Bevies, who gets spotted down, separated from Pablo and Goo, and there's only so much he can do. He has to let him go down. He cannot be a hero in that situation, and that's a good amount of resources that Tidi went down for. That can keep him up there for years.
Pablo as well going down. Nathan CZB trying to crawl the way up this hill. They have a solid position. The zone also might just be pulling back to their side, so they can get a bit of time here. Pop the Flowberry, play together. but from the rain on above, Tidi is going to not let that slide. The pressure on second height is going to be strong.
Oh, they are going up this mountaintop. A lot of them out of builds, you know, working to sundown because Old Man Mountain is definitely going to take this toll eventually as Swizzy's just finding a way. He's trying to stay alive, but all those ticks, 3 ticks, 4 ticks is really going to be the end because he goes down. Top 4 position with finally everybody being alive and well as duos, but nope, spoke too soon. Rakazan tries to enter into the box of Nathan and CZB and immediately regrets it as the only duo that's safe from all this madness is Lance and Tidi.
Are you kidding me? Picking up one after another, almost 10 eliminations just for Tidi. They're going for 15, the Elim record of the day. From above now, the drop down comes in. The confidence is here. The aggression now. One shot needed to connect. It's all it's going to take. Cringe is the last player up, and Tidi does it. 10 eliminations, taking out Volko and taking game number 5.
That was 10 by himself. They had 15 eliminations as a team. That is complete and utter control over the game without even looking back. I think there was maybe 1 fight towards the high ground, maybe 2, and they weren't even involved with it. So with all that madness going down, slow and steady wins the race. They saw it was up for grabs as soon as the 2 teams dropped, and they just took it and never looked back.
You can see right here, Tidi was just playing a little aim training game, picking up one player after another, got 3 eliminations back to back to back, dropped down, finished the last one off as well. What a powerful way to end this game. I don't even want to know how many points they just claimed from this match.
Yeah, it was tough. As soon as I saw that zone move over towards that mountain, most of it going up in the beginning, and then somehow they got a blessing with going towards the side, but that just forced every single duo on the side of that mountain tunneling together. And then you talked about the pressure from above. It was over, but with 5 games done, we know the leaderboard is shaking up. We'll take a look after this quick commercial break.